excuse me, that we are actually getting a signal through. So let me make certain that I am getting audio through to where it needs to be. It is a quiet Thursday night, and as of right now, if you haven't heard, we are going to be seeing less and less in the way of chances of showers and thunderstorms coming up into Friday, which is a pity. Because we could use some help in that department, to say the least, as we have little, if anything, showing up in the way of chances of rain anytime soon. The next best chance of anything involving rainfall at this point is more than likely going to be the better portion of somewhere out toward next week, and that is about as soon as it gets, unfortunately. That means that as of right now, that if things continue the way that they have been going, it's a good possibility that we will be 9 inches behind on rain coming up here in the course of the next couple of days. So definitely want to pay attention to what's going on with your local fire situation out there. Let's be cautious with anything involving fire in the great outdoors or anywhere else, because we are going to be seeing possibly some fairly dangerous conditions out there where fire is involved. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. This is Weather Overtime. We are live and direct on Thursday night, the 5th of September, on Twitch and on YouTube at simultaneous points. So if you have any questions about the weather here in the Chattanooga area, the Tennessee River Valley, go ahead and drop your questions into the chat function or on Twitch or YouTube, and we'll see if we can answer those questions for you as soon as we possibly can. In the meantime, again, fairly quiet for tonight, and just absolutely not seeing anything in the way of potential of rainfall for right now, and that's really not good news. Why is that? Well, let's just take a look at some of the numbers here and show you why. Temperatures today very close to where we should be for this time of the year. 90 and 70, the respective high and low temperature. Normal high and low, 87 and 67, so about 3 degrees above both the high and the low temperature. We did manage to pick up, surprisingly enough, 1/100th of an inch of rainfall today, so that doubles the amount of rain that we actually had during the first few days of September, Saturday, Sunday, early this last week. As we went out of August and into September, we managed to pick up 1/100th of an inch. Now we have twice that much in the rain gauge, and that still isn't a heck of a lot. So for the month, we are behind by half an inch plus, and for the year, we are behind by 8 3/4 inches. Now, we usually, for each and every single day, we should pick up about 11/100ths of an inch every single day if we wanted to get to normal conditions through the entire year, January 1st to December 31st. In this case, again, we lose about that much per day that we don't pick up any rainfall. So for right now, we should be at almost 36, 37 inches of rain. That is how far behind we are, and that is why we need the rainfall at this point. Temperatures right now at the airport, with the Tomahawk crane and rigging camera behind the temperature report, back in the lower 80s. Everything moving along quite nicely at this time. So if you have anything in the way of getting out and about tonight, should be beautiful weather across much of the area. Temperatures right before the top of the hour, again 82 at the Chattanooga airport, showing 75. Looks like an update came through early. 60s into parts of North Carolina. This is the News 12 viewing area here. North Georgia, northeast Alabama, southeast Tennessee, and western parts of North Carolina. That again is showing our temperatures. Scottsboro, it's time to take your thermometer out of the oven. I don't know what's going on at Scottsboro at the airport, but something needs to be done, because that is obviously not the correct temperature. We don't have any real huge amounts of heat across the area. We may see the potential of some more heat coming up into the later portions of next week, but the chances are not going to be all that much. So numbers tonight, the worst potential, Little Rock back through about Nashville, St. Louis, lower 80s there. Birmingham and Montgomery also in the 80s. So warmer back to our west and northwest, and really not that much going on for the time being. Air quality is much improved from what we saw last week. A little worse back over into parts of the southern Appalachians, but other than that, things are again very quiet. We do see our next cold front on approach. It is heading our way, and we're going to continue to see the potential of some rain down to our south. Again, News 12 viewing area right through here. We do have some scattered showers taking place in parts of the area down to the south of Atlanta, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, picking up some light activity, and our front is on its way. The next cold front will be dropping through into tomorrow. Now, we do have a couple of systems here kind of keeping that moisture down to the south of us. If this were to move up this direction, we would see much better chances of rainfall coming on through, with this front triggering off some of that activity. We do not see anything at this time in the way of really great amounts of rainfall. We might maybe pick up a shower or a thunderstorm tomorrow if some of this moisture gets a little closer to us. Really not going to be seeing much of anything else at this time that's going to give us a chance of rainfall outside of just a minimal chance, and that's going to be really about it. So not great chances of rainfall. We had better chances over the course of the last several days. Nowadays, what we're looking at is most of the rain going down to the Gulf Coast, and much of that is going to be, could be 2.5 inches from Georgia across the Gulf Coast. And some areas could be picking up, again, about 5 to 10 inches of rain with that new possible tropical system over parts of the northwestern Gulf. So Corpus Christi, Houston, all the way over through Florida and into Georgia and areas of South Carolina could be from very soggy conditions there, and that is where we're going to be seeing the worst beach activity for now. We'll talk about the tropics coming up here in just a little bit. The next several days should be giving us the potential of some nicer weather where outdoor activities are concerned. We don't have much going on in the way of anything happening with rainfall. It's expected to be decently toward normal for the next several days, but in a time frame when we're 9 inches behind for the year, we could definitely and desperately use some more rainfall out across much of the area. Welcome to the show, anybody who's tuning in on YouTube and also on Twitch tonight. Glad to have you along for the ride. Island Cove, we're starting to see a little bit of clearing skies out there, so a little bit of stargazing with some clear conditions out there. No real great satellite spotting for tonight, unfortunately. All these cameras available on the EPB fiber optics WeatherCam network. Again, tomorrow we're going to mark it down as a less than 10% chance, so not great conditions to say the least, but maybe a raindrop, maybe a thunderstorm if we get enough moisture in the air, and that also depends on most of what is south of Chattanooga. That'll be the best amount if we do get anything whatsoever, and right now that is a very big if for the time being, so maybe a 1 in 10 shot at best. Beyond that, the front moves through, and we see numbers back in the lower 80s all the way into the next several days. And then we get toward next week. That is where we see the potential of showers and thunderstorms. Now, if this sounds familiar, it should, because last week, this is what it was looking like for the end of this week. We had a really good chance, 50, 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms out there. And then as we went through the rest of the week, those chances kept getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. And I got to tell you right now, this is not looking good. Confidence is not high regarding anything heading all the way through here. Chances of showers and thunderstorms into the end of next week. Maybe a problem for Friday Night Football. I really don't see that much happening out there. But again, we'll wait and see as it go through the week. Otherwise, temperatures remain below normal, very much on the comfortable side, and not seeing a problem anytime soon. So very good news on that for outdoor activities. Friday Night Football, again, that should be doing pretty well for the most part. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that forecast as we see sunset right at 8 o'clock and temperatures again remain very much on the mild side. Winds will be light out of the east-southeast. No chance of rainfall pretty much outside of that chance during the afternoon and early evening hours, but that should be going away. Taking a look also at these dew point temperatures in the 50s, that is where we see very dry conditions, especially when these dew point temperatures are way below the air temperatures. That is a very dry atmosphere. This right here is the temperature of the air saturated with moisture. So the closer we get to getting those numbers together, the more moisture there is and the worse it feels. So very dry conditions. Again, confidence about any rain tomorrow is just really not going to be showing up at any time soon. So wish we could say different on that, and that means also for the kids heading to school and heading home from school, not seeing a problem. It'll be mild, it'll be decently dry outside of a raindrop or a rumble of thunder, which is looking less and less likely, just not seeing that much going on. So for the school day forecast, not a problem coming up for the time being. Getting the kids to and from school without too much of a worry there when it comes to anything involving huge amounts of rainfall, which we could use, but that's just not happening at this point in time. All right, that should do it for much of our weather. Let's go to some extracurricular stuff. Beautiful view at Sanctuary Ridge Farm. Never been there before, but a beautiful view. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Monica Scott from Decatur, Tennessee, for a beautiful view of tulips at sunset. That's our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. And if you've got weather pictures, we don't care where it's from or where you're from, send them in to us. If you want to be anonymous, that's fine. But if you'd like to send us in a picture or two, we'd love to feature them and show them to everybody on air and online. We drop them to our social media pages every single evening. You can drop your pictures there with, again, a location or description. Please give us at least that much, but you don't have to use your real name if you don't want to. You can email them to us, or you can go to our website, wdef.com/weather. Let's do one more weather situation here because I want to make certain everybody is very well aware of what is going on. We do have to make one change here for now, and that is earlier this evening we had 5 systems going on. The one that is, let me go just check one more thing here. There is a possibility that this system out here, okay, so we technically do still have, according to the National Hurricane Center, 5 areas that could be a change here in the semi-near future. Most of these at this time, this one about 10% possibility of development. This one looking less and less likely. This one has gone to 0% according to the National Hurricane Center. This one about 20% nearing the Bay of Campeche. Not great chances there. The one in the northwestern Gulf, this one at 10% chance, which again is not huge, but it is something to watch out for, especially sitting near the coast. That's going to stir up a lot of rainfall there. And then looking out over the coast of the Carolinas off into the western Atlantic, this particular cell shows a 30% chance of development in the course of the next several days. And this is going to continue to move off to the north and to the east. This one, again, 30% chance. That's the best chance of anything developing. It looks like it's going to be paralleling the coastline of the United States, so this is not going to be a major threat. But sitting over those warmer waters of the Gulf Stream and into the western Atlantic with temperatures of the waters above 80 degrees, this could develop very rapidly. Any of these systems, if they hit the right amount of energy and the right winds and the right conditions in the atmosphere, it's possible that we could see more problems out of this. So again, if you're heading anywhere near a beach, the ocean, coastal areas, down to the south and off to the east, you need to watch what's going on, because you do not want to be heading into an area where something might be heading our direction. So that in and of itself is something to watch out for. We'll keep you updated. The National Hurricane Center will keep you updated. We'll bring those bits of information to you as fast as we possibly can, and to give you updates on what's going on. This is as busy as I've seen it in quite some time. We're approaching the peak of the season We peak, the midpoint between June 1st and December 1st is September the 10th. And that's coming up next week, Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So we are getting close to that peak of the season, but we are still, according to the experts, still looking at what could be a very busy end of September into October. And that is something that, again, we really do need to pay attention to. Now, from the Climate Prediction Center, which issues this information, we are showing a much bigger chance of a buildup into the Bay of Campeche, where we had, again, Alberto right around the area that picked up a good amount of energy from Beryl. And that also could be a development point for the Western Gulf and areas down toward Mexico, the Rio Grande, and Texas. Off to the east. Now, this is coming up again into next week, so this area needs to be watched. And then the Central Atlantic, that also needs to be watched. Now, going from week 2 to week 3, notice we have some pretty good amounts of cherry red there. But as we go into the third week of September, things start to calm down according to what the forecast models are telling us. But we still see that higher possibility, about 20% over normal area of development just north of the intertropical convergence zone between South America and Africa. So that, again, is going to be something to watch. It may be a reduction in the amount according to these models run relatively recently, but that could change. So that's why you do need to kind of pay attention to what is happening. We do not have a lot of dust out there. We've got enough to help to kind of curtail some of the development. The dust off the Sahara acts as a filter, drops down the amount of sunlight, so not as much energy reaches the surface of the water, and so we don't have a great deal kicking into gear. But it looks like over the course of the next several days, looks like this model is having some issues here. We're not picking up quite as much, but a decent burst off of Africa might help to stop even more potential of dust and sand heading this direction. And that, hopefully, if it keeps it down a little bit. We talked about this yesterday, and this is something to really take into account. From climatologist, hurricane expert Brian McNulty, senior research associate at the University of Miami Rosenstiel School, taking a look at overall ocean heat content in the Gulf of Mexico for all of the Gulf from Florida to Cuba to Central America to Texas. That's where this area measures, and the temperatures for this are off the charts. Amazingly, hugely, worryingly, scaringly off the charts. The ocean is trying to absorb all the heat we humans are creating through climate change. 126% of average for the date. That red line right there above the last 20 to 30 year average, showing how hot things really are. And this is scary as heck. And this is why we need to get rid of fossil fuels. We need to get to clean energy as soon as possible. This is not normal. This is not even close to normal, and even normal was getting hotter over the last 30 years because of more climate change issues. So this right here is just absolutely huge and completely and totally scary, and this is why we need to elect leaders who know about climate change, who know science, who can understand science, and can help make a policy based on science and why things are happening the way that they are and why we can turn things around. But we all need to get on board with this, especially knowing more about science and the reasons why this is actually happening. So this is why climate change matters. It is happening. It's not a hoax. If you'd like to know more, I'm not going to argue with anybody, but if you'd like to know more, my email address right there. If you'd like to contact me, would love to know more. If you would love to know more about what's going on, I can give you authors. I can give you proof on climate change data. I can give you several dozen websites that can help you understand more about what's going on. But we need, as a collective human society around the globe, to face this issue and do something about it. We're not even close to doing all we need to do about it, and there's so much resistance out there and a lot of fingers plugged in ears. It's absolutely scary. We need to fight this, and we need to do a better job of fighting it, and we're not doing it. All right, off my soapbox for now. Let's see what we haven't done for tonight. This is something that I wanted to make certain everybody was paying attention to here. National Weather Service in Morristown is doing a lot. They've got an open house coming up in a few weeks. We'll talk about that a little bit later. They are also, as we go, they've kept this up, and I'm glad that they have on their website. This is an online Skywarn spotters course. If you've never been to a Skywarn course, maybe you've been too busy, maybe you've gotten a lot of stuff to do with the kids and your job, you can't get to a site that offers a in-person Skywarn training session to become a Skywarn spotter. National Weather Service Morristown is issuing and continuing to hold in place the online virtual Skywarn spotter training course. You can take it online wherever you happen to be, as long as you happen to be online, and you can pass the final exam to receive credit and become a Skywarn spotter, working with the National Weather Service to be their eyes and ears and brains in the field. This is one more example of what NOAA does. NOAA does not just talk about climate change. They do much more than that, and this is one thing that NOAA does exceptionally well through the National Weather Service. So if you'd like to know more, sign up, take the course today or whenever you want to at weather.gov/MRX, or you can go to our website at wdef.com/weather and scroll down beneath the forecast so you can pick up more details as to what we're looking at there. And again, please consider becoming a Skywarn spotter. The more spotters we have, the better off we will all be. I am monitoring all the National Weather Service coverage areas that cover the News 12 viewing area. We are covered by 4 National Weather Service offices: Morristown, Peachtree City, Georgia, Huntsville, and Nashville. And I am keeping an eye out for the in-person Skywarn spotter meetings, which have not been posted yet. When they are, and if they're in our viewing area, I will bring those to you. So please keep it tuned and updated to News 12, and we'll keep you advised about what may be happening there. All right, all deserts are not created equal. There are numerous deserts around the world, and if you've never thought about this before, a great opportunity to learn more about what is going on with our climate around the world. This is really cool to take a look at because there are some deserts that are drier than others. Which one is the driest desert on Earth? The Atacama in Chile, the Gobi over toward Mongolia and portions of East Asia, the Sahara in Africa, or the Mojave in around southwest United States. 44% of you said the Atacama, which is the correct answer. 0.03 inches of rain per year. That's how much falls in the Atacama Desert, making it one of the driest places on the face of the earth. Really great to see this out there. New poll goes up at midnight at wdef.com/vote now. Thanks to Friend Roofing for being our poll sponsor, and thanks also to, again, everybody voting. Use the QR code on your screen to vote if you would like to do so. And again, a new poll comes our way at about midnight tonight for more. If you'd like to know more about astronomy, coming up this weekend, the 7th of September, from 7:30 to 11 p.m. Sunset is just about 8 o'clock right now. Again, weather dependent if it's too cloudy or not great weather, which it doesn't look like that's a problem, but if that happens, the Barnard Astronomical Society will get on their social media pages and let you know that they won't be holding it. But for right now, it's still going on. Cloudland Canyon State Park, Rising Fawn, Georgia, in the Disc Golf area. Now, here's something to pay attention to. The event from Barnard Astronomical Society is completely and totally free. You get to look through their binoculars and telescopes and monitors and see some absolutely incredible stuff out there. But if you are going to go to this, $5 parking fee per vehicle. You got to admit, that's a pretty good bargain for doing something like this. So definitely want to show up and learn more about astronomy. More information at barnardastronomy.org if you'd like to find out more. This could be something in the course of the next several days and weeks. It should be showing up in our skies depending on what happens. A comet it can be a loosely collected collection of dirt and gas and dust and ice and snow and sand and all sorts of stuff that is left over from the creation of the solar system. it really depends on what happens. Comets are notoriously hard to predict what their actions are going to be, but Comet C/2023 A3 Tsunshin-Atlas. That is the entire name of the comet. This is going to be winging through the solar system as we go into the next several days, making an appearance somewhere around mid-month, so about another 10 days or so we'll start to see this, hopefully. And then through about October the 4th, this could be one of the brightest comets we've seen in years, even better than Comet Neowise not too long ago. This is going to be a morning comet, expected to be a morning comet, so it'll rise right before sunrise, which means you'll have some opportunity to see it. Hopefully it gets bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. It may not. Again, it's way too early to predict on stuff like this, but it could have a good visibility, possibly going into mid-October, depending on what happens. If there's enough gas and moisture on the comet and minerals and chemicals as the solar wind hits it and blows that coma or the tail off, that right there is what is going to determine how bright it can be. But predicting that, next to impossible. So we know it's coming. We just don't know how bright it's going to be. We'll keep you updated on that, but this could be a very cool thing to take a look at. Thank you, Tony Rice of What's Up in Space. Great email to subscribe to, which is where I got this information from. So thank you very much, Mr. Rice, for doing a very good job on that. Also coming up, and let's just go ahead and throw this one in here, Barnard Astronomical Society in about 2 weeks, not too long away, as the next full moon approaches, will be an International Observe the Moon Night, September 14th at Greenway Farm, 5051 Gann Store Road in Hickson, Tennessee. Great opportunity to learn more about astronomy. That's what the whole idea about International Observe the Moon Night is, to get people out and looking at the night sky and taking a look to see what they can see. So if you've never looked at the moon through a telescope, as it says on the Barnard Astronomical website, prepare to have your mind blown. So a great opportunity to see more, and I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully I'll have a chance to get out there and take a look again. That's on 5051 Gann Store Road in Hickson, Tennessee. More information available on their website, so please stop by and take a look around. All right, I think that is about it. We've been on for about half an hour, which is our usual target on there. So we'll go ahead and turn things back to your regular Thursday night. We'll be on with News 12 at 11. And Chip Chapman will have more on your forecast coming up bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks to everybody who tuned in on Twitch and also on Weather Overtime for YouTube. Glad to have you along. Thanks a lot for checking in. Nobody said hi on either chat room, but nice to have you along either way. And we'll have more on your forecast again tonight. And of course, we'll keep updated on what's going on with the forecast online. You can check us out again at wdef.com/weather. That's where you can get in touch with everybody at News 12. If you've got a story idea, if you've got a question, please let us know. Again, my email address, bottom portion of the screen, aonic@wdef.com, if you'd like to take a look around there. And, of course, we'll have more. These are my social media pages. News 12 is only on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, not on any of these. If you'd like to stop by and play a game of chess, find me on lichess.org or on chess.com. I'm not a grandmaster, as I was talking with News 12 reporter Nick Hill earlier today, but I do enjoy tripping around the chessboard from time to time. So if you have the opportunity to play, stop by and let me know. I'd love to play a game with you. That should do it. Again, thanks for joining us for Thursday night. We'll go ahead and send it back to your regular Thursday night programming. Stay tuned for more with News 12 on air and online, and we'll